But thank you so much for coming. If this is your first time of coming to this session, thank you so much. Feel free to follow me on Instagram and on Facebook at Everyday Matters One, and of course on YouTube by clicking the subscribe button on this video. Thank you so much. And we do this live stream every Sunday at 5 p.m. UK time, so you can be free to join us at any time, any day at all, any Sunday you wish. Okay, and the main purpose of this live stream is to empower you with tools to become the best version of yourself and to build better and positive relationships. But thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much, Elias Matters. I see you there. Thank you so much for always coming to this live stream. Thank you for being on time as well. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about some red flags that you should not ignore in your relationship. So you're in a relationship and you're wanting to get married to someone. There are some red flags that you see that will make you say no, 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 or some flags that will make you just run away from that relationship, whether you're a man or you're a woman. Okay, so it's really important. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But thank you, Elias Matters, for coming. How are you? How's your day been? How's your week been? Thank you so much for coming. Okay. And I put a message there I put a poll there. Have you ever had to come out of a relationship as a result of red flags that you've seen? I can see 3 votes there. 3 votes. And let's see what the percentage is. 100%. So we've the 3 votes says yes. So we've come out of relationship. It's awkward, Richie. Thank you for coming. I thought you were out with your family. Thank you so much for coming, Mr. Rock. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. For everyone in the house, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. So yes, I saw the poll. And did you vote? What did you vote? Did anybody vote yes or no? Have you ever, I think that's where we're going to start from. Have you ever had to come out of a relationship or break a relationship because of some red flags that you saw? Okay, I think that's where we're going to start from today. So if you have, say yes. If you haven't, say no. Okay, so that's where we'll be starting from today. Okay, so what did you vote? I can see 4, I've got 4 people on the screen, but what did you vote? Did you vote yes or did you vote no? Have you ever come out of a relationship because of some red flags that you saw? Yes. Okay, so Richie says yes, she has had to quit a relationship because of red flags. Elias Mata say yes. Okay, so the next question is, what was the red flag that you saw? Because again, there are a lot of red flags. Okay, if we want to start counting, we'll be counting like hundreds or 50. So what was the red flag you saw that made you come out of a relationship? Okay, so that's the first question. But thank you guys so much for coming and for your response as well. It's highly appreciated. Thank you so much. Okay, good evening, EYM. Okay, that's Elias Matters. But thank you guys so much for always coming. I appreciate you so much for coming. So what was the red flags you saw? Ellie, good evening. Mr. Rock, thank you so much. I appreciate you. I think I've been to your channel before, but haven't been recently. Have I? I don't think so. Thank you so much for coming. So what was the red flag? So I'm gonna go through a few of these red flags, okay? So you can just like tell us what you think about them as well, so that it's not just me talking throughout in this live stream. Abuse, okay? So Richie was saying abuse. What is the physical, emotional? Youngest in Dubai, thank you so much for coming. Haven't seen you in a while, but thank you for coming. I do appreciate you. So yeah, so abuse is one of the major reasons and one of the major red flags in relationships. So if you find out that the person you are with, so you're thinking of getting married to someone, or you're just in a casual relationship with someone and they're being abusive, then that's a red flag that you want to think about. Is okay, you know what, I don't think I want to go on with this relationship. Okay, and abuse can be in different forms. It can be physical, it can be emotional. Don't have useful channel, right? Okay, so that will be why I haven't seen your notification or anything. I'm sure I've visited you to check though. Okay, so what other red flags can we talk about? And again, abuse can be physical, it can be emotional, it can be psychological. Okay, so but the one that people tend to see and talk about is a physical one, but then that's not it. And sometimes partners tend to abuse their partners emotionally, emotionally, and that's equally bad. When it comes to emotional abuse, it's really bad. And not just, and a lot of people tend to ignore that part. So we look at the physical aspect, but we tend to ignore the emotional abuse that goes on in a relationship. Okay, and sometimes the partners, maybe the man or the woman, will tend to tear the woman down emotionally, take away their confidence from them, make them feel that they are worthless. So those are things that we should be looking at. Abuse is not just physical; it can be emotional and it can be psychological as well, where you feel like you're worthless. You might even feel like you can't do without the person. You can feel like, okay, this person is your all and all. Without this person, you can't survive. So these are things that we need to be looking out for in a relationship. Has any other person got any experience when it comes to red flags in relationship that made you quit the relationship? Has anyone else got any experience? One of the things I put down on my list, which is very subtle, which you will not even think is a red flag, is when you're in a relationship with someone. Say you've just started a relationship and the person agrees with you all the time. Anything you say, yes. Anything you want, yes. Okay. You have an idea, the person say yes is correct. Even when you're wrong, the person still says yes. Okay, that might just be a sign that the person is just wanting to do all that to kind of tie you down, and then they will show you their real self. So the person is not being truthful to you. Okay, they're not telling you their true, what actually their true feelings are. Okay, gospel record label. Thank you so much for coming from the USA. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you for coming. I don't think I've seen you before, but thank you for coming. Okay, so when you are in a relationship with someone and the person agrees with everything you are saying, then that's a red flag. Everything you do, the person is not angry, even though you know that you are being naughty, even though you know that the person, you're saying the wrong thing, even though you know you're wrong, the person is saying, okay, okay, okay. The person might just be looking for a way to trap you, and then once that's happened, they would bring out their real self, their real character. Okay, so that's very subtle, but it's something we need to look out for. Okay, another thing I have on my list is possessiveness. And I don't want to be the only one talking. So if you have any contributions, please put it in the chat so that we can be talking together, so that it's not just me. Okay. I know Richie mentioned abuse. Everyone from the USA, okay. Has anyone had any experience whereby you thought you saw a red flag and you thought, you know what, I can't be in this relationship because of this red flag? If you want to put it in the chat as well, that would be highly, highly appreciated. Okay. Has anyone had any experience with red flags? Okay, so the second point I'm going to talk about is someone that's possessive. Okay, so when you get into a relationship, you feel like, okay, this person loves me, or I love this person, and you want to be like you. When someone start acting like they want you all the time, they tend to exhibit some form of possessiveness. You think it's love, but when the person becomes overly possessive to the extent that they are controlling you, they wanting to control you. Healthy living with Deborah, thank you for coming. Holistic wellness with Deborah, thank you for coming. I don't know if you saw the poll there. The question is, okay, we've got 57%. Yes, 57%. Happy Sunday to you too. Let's have a look. 43% says no, they haven't had to leave a relationship because of red flags, and 57% says yes. Okay. So if you know any example of any red flags that will make someone leave a relationship as well, just put it in the chat. Okay, so that it's not like I said, not me always talking, and my live streams are always engaging. Okay, so we're talking about possessiveness. So when you get into a relationship with someone and they start to act possessive, at the beginning, at the initial stage, it might just be like, okay, this person loves me and wants to be with me all the time. But at some points, the person becomes overly possessive, wanting to control you. And that's another point as well. The person becomes controlling. Okay, they want to control your phone calls. They want to control what you wear. They want to control you in many ways. Okay, so that is a red flag that you want to look at. And if your partner, man or woman, becomes that way, becomes that possessive, or becomes that controlling, then that's a red flag that you also want to look at. Okay, but thank you guys so much for coming. Has anyone got any other ideas, any other points? I mean, we all know things that will constitute red flags. We all know things that will constitute red flags. So if you just put them in the chat, that will be great. Okay, and another one that comes to mind that is very close to being abusive is someone that has a temper. Okay, so that might not necessarily go straight to being abusive. Okay, so the person might not abuse you physically, but you're seeing the signs that this person can be explosive when they're angry. This person can have a change of mood or mood swings from 1 minute to another. Okay, so in that case, you want to be careful and have a look to say, okay, you know what, this person's temper could lead to something else. Okay, Healthy Living is saying, host, I had only one relationship, and that was courtship, which led to marriage. Let me learn from others. Okay, that's fine. But again, even if that's great, okay, but even if you haven't had an experience, you might know someone that is having that experience, so you can help them see, because sometimes someone in a relationship like that, in a toxic relationship, sometimes they don't see. So you might see someone that is in a relationship like that, and you might be able to help them, or they might even come to you for advice. Okay, they might come to you for advice, and then you can advise them like, okay, this is a red flag. This is something that you don't want to continue in your life. Okay, so Elias Mata is saying not letting his or her partner be around people, friends, or family, and that's true. That's another point. So the person is so possessive, they don't want you to go around other people. They don't want you to go around other people like, okay, you stay where I am, you stay where I am. I want to be with you all the time. And sometimes as well, they don't like your friends. So they don't like your friends. So what they will do is they would isolate you from your friends, isolate you from your family, and then eventually when it's just the two of you, then they begin to operate, they begin to attack, they begin to abuse. Okay, and that's one of the points when it comes to someone that's abusive. That's one of the traits. They tend to isolate their victim from the whole world, isolate you. And sometimes you're so innocent, you're thinking like, oh, this person loves me so much, this person wants to be with me all the time. And then you tend to build your world around them. Okay, you build your world around them, and then you don't know that they have something coming for you. Okay, so it's really important that we are careful, we are smart, we are looking at these things, we are looking at the signs. And again, it doesn't have to be you, it might be someone you know. Okay, and I said in my video, I think, was it yesterday when I was talking about, I can't remember what topic I did yesterday. But I shall know that I talked about marriage being a long-term journey. It's a journey that you go on it's a lifetime journey. And you want to go on that journey with someone that makes it easier for you rather than someone that makes it more difficult. And we know that whoever you go into it with would make it either difficult or easy for you. And we want to get it right from the beginning. We don't want to go into it and start regretting, I saw this thing, or I should have. I saw the signs, I should have, but I didn't. Okay, so it's important that we take these things into account and know that if we see the signs, it's a no. If we see someone that's temperamental, someone that explodes, or someone that's just overly quiet, but when they get angry, nothing can hold them. Questions to ask before marriage. Richie, I don't understand. And another thing there is, just talking about questions while you're clarifying your point. Another thing about red flags is, another point is, when this person is not talking about their past. So you ask them questions, they don't want to talk about it. They're angry when you ask them these questions. So you're asking them, okay, what was your relationship like? What happened in your last relationship? Why did it break up? And they're angry. So that's something that you also want to look at. Okay, they are secretive about their past because of obviously they have something to hide. Okay, so these are things that we really, really need to look into. Okay, Richie, what's your question? Oh, now I guess that was my topic from yesterday. Questions to ask before marriage. Yes. Yeah, so that was my topic from yesterday. Questions to ask before you get married. If you haven't seen that video, please go and have a look at it, because it's really important that we ask these questions. It's really important that we open our eyes and look, because like I said, marriage is a long-term journey, lifelong journey, and you want to go into it with someone that makes it easier for you, not someone that will be abusive. Okay, not someone that will make it difficult for you. Okay, so it's really important. Okay, so another point I have is someone that dismisses your feelings, someone that dismisses your ideas. Okay, say for instance, you have an idea, you have a goal, and you bring it to this person, and they say, "Oh, I don't think you should do it. I don't think you can do it." Your goals, your dreams, they keep dismissing them. Okay, so that's a red flag that you want to look at, because and in that video yesterday, I said there are some people that will take from you, they'll take away your confidence, they'll take away your self-worth. Okay, so that's a red flag that you want to look at. If you keep going to your partner and they keep saying, "I don't think you can do it," or "You should, it's not for you." They don't believe in you, they don't believe, and after some time it begins to affect your self-confidence. Okay, so you really want to pay attention to that. Okay, someone that dismisses you, and someone that tends to talk down on you as well. Okay, someone that talks down on you, tells you like, "Oh, no, now you can't do this, thing is not for you," things like that. Talks down on you, make you feel even in public or in private. So these are things that we really, really want to look at. And again, if you have any other red flags, I'm the only one talking. If you have any other red flags, the only one that has come up so far is abuse, which is a really, really important point. And we know that abuse is not just physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, and it could be psychological as well. Okay, so that's really, really important. Okay, so another point I've got is when this person doesn't prioritize you. Okay, and what I always say is that we make out time for things that are important to us. So if your partner doesn't prioritize you, it means that you're not as important to them. Okay, so that's something that you really want to look at. So does this person prioritize me? If they're always too busy, if they're always too busy to call you or to see you or to talk to you on the phone, if they cancel on you at last minute, okay, so that's something that you want to look at as well. So it's really important that we look at this thing. So if you see any of these signs that I'm talking about, it might not be the signs, it might be something else. Okay, and someone says if your gut feeling tells you something is wrong, then know that there's something wrong, because your gut feeling it's your inner protection or something like that, maybe your angel or something, I don't know how to call it. It's what speaks for you, what protects you. So if your inner voice is telling you that something is wrong with this person, you're like, "This person, I'm not sure, I think there's something wrong," then you need to listen to that inner voice as well. Financial abuse, controlling your partner's money. Okay, and that's another point as well. Some people would want to and it comes to controlling, some people are controlling. You haven't got married to this person yet, you want to control them, you want to know how much they earn, you want to know what they spend their money on, because you are engaged to this person. So it's a sign that when you get married to that person, they're going to do the same or even do worse. We had a story of a lady that her husband took her to America, to the US, and she was working, she went to nursing school, she became a nurse, and the man began to control her finances, began to say, "Okay, because I brought you to the US, you have to submit all your salary to me." So she was doing that year on, year on, year on, until she got to the point where she's like, "You know what, I can't do this anymore, because it's not right. It's my money, I work hard for my money, so I should be able to decide how I spend my money. And even though, yes, I can spend it on the family, it's not for you to control. I don't have to come and give it to you at the end of the month to say, okay, this is my salary. Go ahead and use it for whatever you want. No, it's mine because I worked hard for it. Okay, but thank you very much for that point, Elias Matters. I think this is going to be a very quick and short LS because looks like I'm the one that doing most of the talking. Shade Princess, thank you so much for coming. So the topic we have on ground today is red flags. What are the red flags in a relationship? Have you ever had to leave a relationship because of a red flag? If you have, please put down the red flag on the chat and we'll be happy to discuss them as well. Okay, or even if if it didn't happen to you, if you know anything that you think would be a red flag for a relationship, then please put it down in the chat and we'll be able to discuss them. But thank you so much. Okay, so another point is someone that lacks motivation. Fitness Study, thank you for coming. Someone that lacks motivation, okay, is a guy beats a girl but bye. Exactly. So if someone hits you in a relationship, it just means that if you get married to that person, they're going to hit you. And if someone has hit you the first time, there's always a tendency that they will hit you again. Okay. So it's something that you really want to be careful of. Especially if you're in a relationship, this person you're not even married to this person yet, and they are hitting you. So what could have caused it? What makes you think you're not going to do worse in the future, and then this person would hurt you again? Okay, not chatting. I'm making my daughter's hair. Right. Okay, Richie. I thought you said you were going now, so family outing. Yeah, so if someone has hit you the first time in a relationship, there's always a tendency that it will happen again. So what you want to do is pack your things and just leave. But when it comes to marriage, it's always different, and that's why you need to quit the relationship before you go into marriage. Because when you get into marriage, it becomes more complicated, especially if you now have children and this person starts hitting you. So yes, you're going to leave, but a lot of things would have happened. A lot of things you will need to take into consideration. You need to take your kids into consideration. You need to take the fact that you've spent all these years with this person into consideration. You need to think about where you're going to live if you had to break up that relationship. You're going to think of where you're going to start from. So those are things that you're going to think about when you're married. But when you're still single, it's easy. It's easy to just say, okay, you know what? I can't do this. I don't think this is going to work. Okay, and someone said it's always better to have a broken relationship than to have a broken marriage. Okay, true, not easy to live in marriage, somebody being hit. Exactly. It's easier. It started raining, right? Okay. Right, okay. So it's easier when you're still in a relationship than it is. So yes, you can still leave due to physical abuse in marriage, but a lot of other things would have come into play. Your families, so many people would have been involved. Your kids, if you have kids, the kids will be involved as well. So we really, really need to look at these things carefully before we go into marriage with anyone. Okay, because it's really, really painful when you go into marriage and then you not see these signs coming up, and you'll be asking yourself, but I saw this thing before, I just didn't take it. I've just been taking this into consideration. But if somebody hits me, I will hit them back. And that's Mr. Rock says dangerous aspect of red flags is by denying sexual satisfaction. And that's a red flag. That's a red flag which should be in marriage, because when it comes to relationship, we preach abstinence. Okay. But you can have a clue that this person is going to deny you of sexual satisfaction based on the things. Say, for instance, you do something to your partner and then they deny you of maybe they don't talk to you, they don't do things. You can know that, okay, this person might deny me sexual satisfaction when it comes to it. If somebody hits me, I will hit them back. That statement So then if you hit them back and then they will hit you more and then it will escalate. Thunder Scorpion, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. So if so that's where it becomes really violent, and we're trying to avoid a violent situation, because when situations becomes violent, anything can happen. Anything can happen. So you hit me, I hit you, you hit me back, and then I get something and hit you. No, 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 you don't want that. Okay, so you want to avoid escalations like that, okay? And that's why it's not a do or die affair. Especially if you're still in a relationship, you can still walk, okay? Greetings, host. Thank you, Thunder Scorpion. You don't take shade from the beginning. Exactly. And that's why you just have to you don't take shade from beginning. And that's why you have to look at these red flags and say, okay, you know what, that's it. Okay, so if you have a partner and they start to deny you of certain things in your relationship, then yes, you want to look at that and then decide to walk away. Because when you get married, it's going to be a standard, and whenever you have a misunderstanding, that's what they will do. Okay, Shade, welcome. Work salute. Deborah. Okay, I'm just gonna see if there's any other comments here that I've missed. Yeah, so our relationships basically are a mirror of what our marriage would be, but sometimes more. Okay, so if, for instance, I have a misunderstanding with my partner and I say, you know what, I'm not talking to you, I'm not cooking, I'm not doing this, it means that when we eventually get married, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do worse. You know, I might lock him in the guest room for 3 days or 5 days and just, okay, you be on your own. So it's always a mirror to what's going to happen in our marriages. And that's why we need to be careful. If you don't stand up for yourself, they will keep hitting you. So if you're in a relationship and your partner hits you, that's a red flag, like a red, like no, no, no. And like I said, if they've hit you once, there's a tendency that they would hit you again. So instead of staying in that relationship where they will hit you again, just leave. Okay, but when you're married, it's a different ball game. You want to put other things into consideration. You don't just pack your things and leave like that. Other things need to be put into consideration. Okay, but if it's a relationship, and I had this conversation with my friends yesterday, conversation lasted for 2 days. For 2 days now, WhatsApp group. So the point I got tired. I'm like, oh, I've had enough of this conversation. And some were of the opinion that if this happens, just leave. But I'm like, if you're married, it's not as easy to leave. But they were like, okay, just leave. So yes, if it's a relationship, like maybe you're courting and maybe you're engaged or whatever, it's better to break that relationship than to continue into marriage. But when you're married, it's completely different. If your partner hits you, that's not that's not a flag. That's the action. Leave. Exactly. That's it. So that, because if they've done it once, they will do it. Definitely, definitely do it again. They'll definitely do it again. You know, so if you now start standing up for yourself and now fighting, the relationship becomes toxic. You know, and no one wants to be in a toxic relationship. Youngers in Dubai says it's always good to study your partner very well during your courtship, so as to avoid consequences after marriage that becomes and then it becomes too late. And that's also true. That's so true. And that's why we say spend time during courtship. We don't say, okay, court for 1 year or 2 years or whatever, but spend enough time. And again, we know that there's no way we can know someone completely. You can't know someone completely, but spend time to know the basics about this person. How do they behave when they're angry? How do they behave when they're happy? What do they do when they are stressed? What are they like when they're under pressure? You know, so you need to spend time to look at these things so that you can know your partner to an extent before you decide to get married to them. A Talk with Richie says the fact is that there are thousands and one red flags, but we choose to ignore. A lot of times we do. A lot of times we ignore these red flags and then we'll go into this marriage and then violence starts, or maybe the person starts treating us bad. And we had a conversation yesterday, where I think it was to the conversation that lasted for 2 days. And what happened was this person, for some reasons, wasn't providing for his family, for his wife and children, and he didn't want her to work. I'm like, I want to know the man's side of the story. What happened? So if a man suddenly says, I'm not providing for you, before you got married to that person, there must have been some signs that this person has this tendency. You know, say if a man is very generous with you, he gives you money, he takes you out, he does this, but when it comes to his family and his friends, he doesn't, and everybody is saying he's stingy, and you are saying no, he's generous. Know that he's just doing that to get you, and at some point he's going to change to be the same person that everyone knows him to be. Okay, Shadow Princess says, I'm just happy I'm married and don't have to deal with anything like this. Okay, which is good. Yes. It's okay. I've read that one. Flags are warning signs. You get hit isn't a warning. You getting hit isn't a warning. Yes, that's true. She's been married more than once is a red flag. Okay, and that's really important. Okay, if someone has been married more than once, sometimes, of course, there's something to it. Why has she been divorced? And that's why we look at the person's relationship history. What has relationship history been like? Has this person been dating for 3 months, 1 month, and then coming out to date another person? Do they go from one relationship to another? Okay, so those are things that we should be looking at. What's their history? And someone being divorced, sometimes it's not their fault, sometimes it is their fault. Okay, but if someone has been divorced once, twice, 3 times, then of course you want to sit down and ask, okay, what happened? Why is this person? So that's not for you to say, okay, just conclude that this person is not it, because we know that sometimes circumstances, life happens sometimes. Some people are just unlucky. Yeah, but it's definitely something that we want to look at. Is okay, what went on here? Why did this happen? This person is always only has a relationship that lasts for 3 months. Why is this happening? Okay, maybe he keeps saying that his or her ex is bad, is stupid, is this, is that, is all their fault. Then you want to be like, okay, why is it all their fault? What? Because we know that every misunderstanding happens, so two people would always be involved. It takes two to tangle. Okay, so it has to be the two of you. It has to be the two of you. So you cannot be blaming the other person. Does that mean that if we break up tomorrow, you're going to put all the blame on me, that it's my fault that the relationship ended, or that I'm a bad person? So you want to listen to what they are saying. You want to look at their relationship history as well. So it's really, really important. So these red flags are things that if we ignore them, they will come back and bite us. If we ignore these red flags, they will come back and bite us. Okay, so it's really important. And again, if you know of any red flags that we should talk about, just put them on the chat and we'll be able to discuss them. And then I was talking about someone that's lazy, someone that has no motivation at all. No motivation. They are just there. You know, they are complacent, they're happy with where they are, they don't want to do anything else to make them better, they don't want to improve themselves. Okay, if you go ahead and marry that kind of person, there's a tendency that the person will continue to be like that, or even become lazy, and it might affect you as well, because we know that we can rub off on each other as husband and wife. We do rub off on each other. That's why you see after some time, husband and wife begin to look alike. So look alike in their physical looks, and even in their attitude, they begin to look alike. So if you marry someone that lacks motivation, someone that has no dream, no goals, then there's a tendency that it could affect you, or the person becomes lazy, and then it begins to affect your relationship. Okay, so these are red flags that we need to look at. I don't know if I've got any other written here. And the point on someone when he's hiding from you, maybe he's hiding phone calls, he's hiding text messages, is hiding secrets from you. He doesn't want you to know about things, and you have to keep asking questions like, okay, what is this, what is that, and it keeps telling you yes, no, this, that keeps playing you around. Those are red flags that we really need to look into. And the reason we're talking about this red flags is because it's marriage itself is hard work. For those that are married will know and will be able to testify that marriage itself is hard work. Even when you have the right person, it's hard work because it takes time to get to understand someone. Because again, you are from different backgrounds, you are from different cultures. So it takes time for you to understand each other, understand what this person is like when they're angry, understand this what makes this person happy. You know, it takes time, it takes effort, it takes energy. Sometimes it could be exhausting. That's if even that's when you are with someone that's good to you. You can now think about if you now have someone that is abusive, someone that's a cheat, someone that financially wants to control, someone that's controlling, someone that's possessive. You know, it's going to be really, really, really difficult. So we need to really pay attention to these red flags. Okay, like I said, this is going to be a very quick and short one. If anyone has any other contributions, please put them down and we'll discuss them. Otherwise, we'll just end the live stream as it is. So what we've talked about is if the person is always agreeing with you, that's a red flag. If the person doesn't argue at all. So yes, we want someone that's peaceful, but if they always agree with you, it means that they might have something. They might be doing that just to get your attention, to trap you, and then they will show you their real selves because they're not being true to you. Sky Figo, thank you so much for coming. Deborah says, should stinginess be considered as a red flag? Just thinking. I would say yes. I would say yes. It's a red flag for me. Okay, for me, it's a red flag. I don't know what others think, but if someone is stingy, it's a red flag for me. Okay, so if you cannot fix that stinginess before you get married, then it's going to continue. Okay, so you get married, host respect, mommy. Thank you so much. So you get married to this man or this woman, and they're never, ever, ever going to provide for you. They're going to be like, okay, you take care of this, you take care of that, while me, all I earn is going to be for me, myself, and I alone. So I feel it's a red flag. So someone else, it might not be. Okay. I know of someone that to his family, he was seen as a stingy person. Like he they called him is it aka gum or something that's like this that never opens, you know. But to his girlfriend, he was like very generous and all that. But what she could have thought was, if this person is generous to me and not generous to the rest people, so his friends and family, nothing. And it was very, very well to do. When they eventually got married, this same guy, super glue and so when they eventually get, Richie said big yes, exactly. So when they eventually got married, it took them a couple of years, and this guy stopped giving her money, stopped doing anything. She had to go and work for herself to earn her own money to take care of herself, you know, which made it difficult for her. So yes, a woman wants to work and do all that, but it's been nice for a man to come home with flowers, to come home and say, okay, let's go out for dinner. But no, he didn't do that anymore because they were eventually married. When they were dating, he was doing all that, taking her out, buying her the best gifts you can think of, you know. But once they got married, that was it, you know. So she won't be able to enjoy those things anymore, and that's would yeah. So Rich is saying, well, like, yeah, but she could have seen that as a red flag because there's no way everyone else is seeing you as something and you're something else to me, you know. So it's really important that we look at these red flags. If anyone has any other questions or any other comments, I'll be happy to take them. Otherwise, that will be it for today. 40 minutes, but that's all right. Okay, so we talked about dismissing your opinions. We talked about doesn't prioritize you, doesn't respect you, and there are times that your partner might also blame you. So they do the blame game. They put the blame on you. They never take responsibility on anything. We did the ground. Thank you so much. Sky Figo. They blame you for everything. They blame you for things not working. And then you begin to feel responsible for things that are not working. You begin to feel responsible for the mistakes that they have made. You know, they'll be like, okay, because you did this, that's why I did that. So even though they've done something wrong, they're not taking responsibility for it. Then when you get married, it's going to be worse. And like I said, our relationships are a mirror of what our marriage would be like. Okay, explosive high things. Yeah, and the last one, which I already mentioned before, is when your gut tells you something is wrong. If your gut says something is wrong, then you want to listen to your gut and just say, okay, what's going on? Okay. But I think that's it for today. Thank you all so much for coming. I really do appreciate you. For those that came, those that popped in and out, I really appreciate every single one of you. Thank you for coming. Have a beautiful week. If you know anyone that would benefit from this video, please share it with them. Don't forget to smash the like button on this video as well. I would really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next week. But before then, keep living your best life. Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you so much. Bye.